President Biden, who will be speaking any moment now at the APEC summit out in San Francisco. It comes, of course, after his meeting with China's President Xi. Let's bring in our Eamon Javers now for more on what to expect. Eamon?
Well, one thing we're wondering what to expect is exactly when these remarks will kick off. We don't have any guidance on timing just now, but you can see that the lectern is set up with an impressive backdrop there here in San Francisco, awfully colorful. And we're going to wait and see what the president has to say. Of course, this is his opportunity to wrap up this summit with Xi Jinping and take a bit of a victory lap, as we're saying, because this is an administration that views this week as very much a success in terms of lowering tensions with China, getting that military-to-military dialogue reestablished, and what they view as a big win on fentanyl. Also, a senior administration official briefing reporters yesterday said that the agreement on fentanyl is important, and the Chinese have already begun to crack down on certain companies. The United States provided the Chinese government with the names of individual companies that are making precursor chemicals to fentanyl, and the Chinese government took action on those within the past week. So the administration feeling bullish on that. And then, of course, there's the market implications here, because these geopolitical tensions do seem to be receding a couple of ticks in the wake of some positive rhetoric by both Joe Biden and Xi Jinping here in San Francisco this week. So all of that, I think, is on the president's plate as he gets ready to talk to the press here in San Francisco. When exactly he'll do that, we don't know. We're gonna wait and see with everybody else.
How did the business dinner go last night, Eamon?
It was fascinating, Tyler. I mean, I was in the room as Xi Jinping was honored by America's best and brightest CEOs. I mean, some of the biggest names in finance. Larry Fink was there. Tim Cook was there from Apple. Albert Bourla from Pfizer. I mean, just an incredible list of CEOs and executives there at this dinner honoring Xi Jinping last night. And Xi spoke for about half an hour, I would say, to the room and made some very friendly remarks. Didn't really speak specifically to the business community, more broadly to America and his, as he called it, his friends in the United States, saying that he wants more travel back and forth. He wants good relations back and forth with the two countries, and saying that he feels that the United States and China have an obligation to jointly lead the world because of their size as major countries and their dominance. It was a speech, Tyler, that I thought revealed that Xi Jinping sees himself and sees the nation of China as on a par with the United States now in terms of geopolitics, and sort of taking China's rightful place as one of two dominant superpowers in the world.
How would you characterize the reception he received? Was it effusive? Was it muted? What was it?
No, the CEOs gave Xi Jinping a standing ovation in the room last night, and it was striking to be sitting in a ballroom with some of the most prominent and powerful capitalists in the world as they gave a standing ovation to the leader of the Chinese Communist Party. It's just not something that you see all that often.
Yeah, and to a person that the President of the United States has described yesterday as a dictator.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And every one of these companies has enormous exposure to the Chinese market, enormous dependence in many cases on manufacturing, access to raw materials in China, deep business relations, deep histories in China. And they're just not in a position to snub Xi Jinping when he comes to town.
Yeah.
Right? And they didn't.
Right.
The interesting one was Elon Musk, who showed up for the VIP reception before the dinner. I don't know if he had a handshake with Xi Jinping at that event or not, but I do know he was in the room where Xi Jinping was scheduled to be. But then he didn't come to the actual dinner, didn't sit at the head table. He left the building before the dinner even began. So the rest of the CEOs, though, including the most prominent ones sitting at the head table, sat through Xi Jinping's remarks and gave him a standing ovation at the end, Tyler.
All right, Eamon Javers, thank you very much. We'll be waiting to hear more from you.